Ah, yes, the good old days. You know, back when you could just save money for your entire life, and then one day when you're in your mid 60s, you could just retire and have enough money to live for the rest of your life. Well, I'm sorry to be the party pooper, but guys, those days are over. In fact, if you save money today, you're actually losing money. And in today's video, I'm going to explain what you can do to fight that and exactly why this is happening. And before we go any further in this video, I just want to give one quick shout out to all of my new subscribers out there. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. And there's a good chance you found my channel either through videos about moving to Florida or about Ebates, or it's a possibility you might have found me through financial education videos as well. But I just want to mention this real quick because I've pretty much determined that my channel is going to be about Florida living and money because both of those things tie together so deeply. In order to move to a new place or to live in a place that's super desirable that you really want to be in, you need to have the money to do that. And if you don't, you're never going to be able to make that dream come true for yourself. And so your quality of life is never going to be at the level that you want it to be at. So I'm going to start combining these two topics together in this channel because I believe they really go hand in hand and you can't have one without the other. These are also two topics that I really have a lot of knowledge and experience that I would like to share with you guys, all completely for free on this channel. Here's the thing. It is possible to still save money, but just not in the way that you might think. And the way that I'm saving money nowadays is like this. I save my money with gold and silver. This is a real ounce of gold and a real ounce of silver right here. And the reason for this is very simple. Gold and silver has been money for over 5,000 years, and it has actually survived all forms of paper currency or any other type of hard form of currency that has come between now and then. It's the only type of money that still exists after all of this time. And that's the reason why I trust it, and that's the reason why the purchasing power never really goes away. In fact, it always just increases over the years, and if you save money with gold and silver, you can't go wrong, and you will basically be guaranteed to preserve the purchasing power of the money that you're trying to save. Rather than thinking about gold and silver as an investment, you want to think of it like a long-term savings account, much like you would think of like a CD or something like that. It's not something that you're going to buy today and flip tomorrow for a big profit. You could try to do that, but most likely you're going to lose money because it does go up in value over time, but it doesn't jump enough in value from day to day to really make it worth it to do that, because when you purchase a piece of gold or silver, you buy it what is called a little bit above spot price, and when you sell it, you're also going to sell it a little bit under spot price. This is how the dealers of gold and silver can make their money, and if it wasn't for that, they wouldn't be able to sell you any gold and silver. So the best part about gold and silver is that it's actually recognized as money worldwide. You could take either one of these coins to any part of the world, and they will give you their currency for whatever this worth in their country, and it's worth the same everywhere relative to the currency. So I can take this 1 ounce of silver or this 1 ounce of gold to any country in the world, and they will happily exchange it for their local currency. It's also really important when you're buying gold and silver to buy real physical gold and silver like I'm showing you here, not mutual funds, not gold and silver ETFs. That's all just paper gold and silver that exists in the stock market. You never actually have the gold and silver in your possession, and if there's enough people that want their gold and silver back one day because they think they own a little bit of it because they have some ETFs, they're going to be sorely mistaken when they come to find out people can actually sell you an ETF, but you actually don't own the real gold and silver. One mistake a lot of people make when buying gold and silver too is that they're afraid to keep it in their house or keep it somewhere nearby because of fearing robbery or something like that, so they put it in a bank safety deposit box. This is a huge mistake because if there's ever a run on the banks and people want to get enough of their money out of the banks because our financial system is in trouble, then what will happen is a lot of banks will start closing down, and if the bank that you have your gold and silver in closes down, they're going to be completely locked up and abandoned, and you're not going to be able to get your gold and silver out of there with short of just breaking in or setting the place on fire or whatever. So I highly recommend that if you're going to buy gold and silver, you need to keep it in a safe place where you know you can get to it at any time. Now here's the real valuable lesson to be learned through this. When I was a kid in 1997, I was 10 years old, and back then an ounce of gold could be bought for $355 roughly. And an ounce of silver you could buy for about $5 back then. Today, 1 ounce of gold is worth over $1,600, and that same ounce of silver is worth over $18. Let's do some simple math. If you were to save $1,000 back in 1997 when I was a kid in a savings account, and let's say you got 2% in interest in that account over the years, let's say maybe it was a CD account or something like that. Saving that $1,000 over this 23-year period at a 2% interest rate would turn that $1,000 into $1,460. But here's where it gets interesting. Because of inflation, that is actually going to eat away roughly 60% of your money. So even though you would have $1,460 in the bank, it would only have $584 worth of purchasing power in today's dollar value. I know, it's terrifying. It's really terrible. I mean, I feel really bad for anybody back then who saved a lot of money and never invested it in any type of asset. However, if you would have saved that same $1,000 with buying gold back then, you would now have $4,591 worth of gold. And if you would have bought silver, you would have $3,718 worth of silver. What a huge difference, right? Doing this is actually very simple. Like I said earlier, you want to think of gold and silver like a long-term savings account, much like a CD account. So how you can do this is, instead of saving like $300 per month, like maybe you're adding an extra $300 per month into your savings account right now, I would take at least a good chunk of that, maybe $200 worth, and set it aside to buy gold and silver instead. But actually every month make sure you buy that gold and silver. Because if you just set it aside in cash or leave it in a savings account, it's just going to keep losing value over the years and therefore robbing you of the purchasing power from the money that you've been working so hard for and trying to save. And guys, I know this might sound crazy to some of you, especially if you don't know a lot about money, but these are facts. I'm not just spewing out my opinion on this. This is the reality. So if you need to learn more about it, I made a video right here, and by watching that video you'll be able to improve your financial education just a little bit further, and you'll have a better understanding of how money works. The good news is that you can still take that age-old advice of saving money. You just can't save it in the form of cash or a savings account if you really want to maintain the value of that money. And we're talking way beyond just maintaining the value. We're talking about far exceeding the value of any kind of money you could ever save. You could save millions of dollars and it will still be relatively worthless compared to what that same amount of money in gold and silver, if you were to spend millions of dollars on that and save that over a 20-year period. And that's really the point that I'm trying to get you to realize by watching today's video. It's actually very shocking to me the amount of people that don't know this type of information, and that's why I'm making this video for you today, because I believe if enough people out there get educated and learn how this stuff works, we'll all be able to start living a much higher quality of life and learn how to save money the proper way and never be broke or short on cash ever again. The point of this channel is to teach you guys things that I wish I would have known sooner myself, and I had to go ahead and learn all of this stuff on my own and the hard way. I never learned any of this from my family or my parents growing up. Nobody ever talked about this in my school, so I was really in the dark until my mid-20s when I first read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then I started getting more interested in assets and money and real estate, and then I started really making it a point to increase my own financial education so that way I wouldn't be making the same mistakes that earlier generations did. And I knew that if I followed up with all of this and I kept on learning, then I would be able to always stay ahead of the game and one day become financially free and rich, which is my ultimate goal. And if you guys have been watching a few of my videos, you know that this is my #1 goal in my life. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you keep on hanging out with me and watch some more of my videos right over here, and I will see you guys over there.